Hello and welcome to Math 14 Statistical Methods. In this video, we're going to go over the basic parts of Canvas that you'll need in order to complete the course and also look at the syllabus, which gives a description of the course as well as how your grade is calculated and policies for the course and all that stuff. So we'll start by taking a look at Canvas, which you've already gotten into Canvas if you're able to watch this video, which is located right here, right in the middle where it says introduction, start here. That's the video you're watching right now. In the middle section, that is where you'll mainly spend most of your attention. If we start though at the left side, some navigational items here under account, that is going to be how you will log out. If you have multiple courses, you can change between the courses by clicking on the courses button here. And then anything else here, if you want to click on those items to explore, you can, but we won't really need anything out of there. In the second column where the blue text is, those are more links. Modules takes you to the screen that you're seeing on the right where it says syllabus and getting started. Discussions, that will be a feature where you can optionally use that to communicate with other people in the course. If you have questions, want to form study groups, things of that sort. But it is an optional feature. People, if you want to try to connect with other people who are in the class, and then everything else is pretty much optional, and you can take a look at that if you're interested. If you want to find out about tutoring for the course, that'll be here under Task, Local Student Tutors. TASK stands for Tutoring and Academic Skills Center. And so you can click on that and get information about tutoring for the course. Everything else here you don't really need. So for the most part, logging out under account and then changing between courses, and then pretty much that's it. In the middle, we'll start here where it's syllabus getting started. If you've already used Canvas before, my apologies for this part because it might seem easy. But for the people who are new, a little bit about navigation. For the middle part here where you see this little triangle that is pointing downward, that means that you have a group of items that is kind of opened up. If you click on a little triangle so that it points to the right, that closes up that block of text that you saw before. Now, instead of syllabus and getting started with a bunch of things underneath it, it goes straight down to the helpful information block. And notice that the little triangle is pointing to the right. If you click on it again, it'll open. Click on it again, it'll close. So that's a navigation thing that you can kind of keep track of. Here within the syllabus and getting started block, as I'd said, the introduction start here video, that's the video you're watching right now. Below that is a syllabus. We'll take a look at that in a couple of minutes. Beyond that, there is a video on MyMathLab, which is the software that we'll use in order to get our coursework done. That MyMathLab needs a course ID to register you for the course, not as far as COD goes, but as far as MyMathLab goes, to identify a particular course, and that's Klinefelter 47171. And then some printed directions on how to create that MyMathLab account appear here. One thing that you will note is the symbols off to the left. The things that look like chains are links, and the things that look like paper clips are documents, so that you can know, are you about to watch a video or are you about to look at a document? Below that, some helpful information that is mostly handouts. To begin with, a lot of people experience test anxiety or feel like statistics covers a lot of things. Handouts about test anxiety, handouts about doing chapter outlining, and positive visualization and so forth. So take a look at some of the handouts there. You might find them hopefully helpful. Yeah, at the end, two videos, one on how to make a practice test, one on how to use a practice test for math. Those two are videos. Everything before that is a handout. Okay. I have office hours, 2 office hours per week during the summer. I'm teaching one class in person and one class in line, so I have one of each office hours. My office hours online are Friday mornings from 10:30 to 11:30. I also have an in-person hour on the Palm Desert campus, which is Wednesdays 12:30 to 1:30. Although you're in the online class, you can come to either of the office hours if you wish. Okay, so that's available there. The content for the course, you'll see following next. So far, there are lectures and notes for chapters 1 through 3. Again, here, something with a paperclip. That means it's a document. That's a PDF file containing notes for these couple sections. And then we have links to the appropriate lectures. So the plan for how you'll want to kind of work the class is to read the textbook, ultimately, which I'll show you the textbook in actually the My Math Lab video. But you'll want to read the textbook, read through the notes, and watch the videos for each section before attempting the assignment. As the course proceeds, we'll, of course, be adding more stuff. But for now, it's just chapters 1 through 3 that are available. Sections 1.1 and 1.2 are in 2 videos, and then the 1.3 video covers all of section 1.3. And that is all of chapter 1. Chapter 1 for our course is a lot of vocabulary, terminology, and kind of conceptual stuff. For a kind of math class, there's not very much, if any, computation in this first chapter. It's a lot of vocabulary, as you'll see. But once we're past that, then we'll be able to have a little more fun, I think. So that is the most things that we're going to need for My Math Lab. The next thing we'll do is take a look at the syllabus. If you click on syllabus here, you'll get the option to view it just kind of online. And then you can also download it as well. All right, so let's take a look at the syllabus for the course. So summer 2023, I'm the instructor, Dan Kleinfelter. I have an email address, which is shown here. You can email me anytime. I don't always check my email on the weekend, though, so there's no use emailing me 10 times on Saturday if I'm not replying back right away or within an hour or two. I do check my email every day during the week. If you do write me, it'll be helpful if you include your name and the fact that you're in the statistics class. That will be helpful. I have, as I'd said, office hours on the Palm Desert campus, MSTC 246E, Wednesdays 12:30 to 1:30, and then Fridays on Zoom 10:30 to 11:30. The Zoom office hours may need to be rescheduled periodically. If so, I'll send you a message and let you know when those change. All right, so for the course description, what the course is about, basically, this is a statistics course. And without getting actually to start teaching the class, there's basically kind of 2 parts to a statistics course. There's descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. What descriptive statistics is about how we can use or we can describe data in a variety of ways. We can describe data graphically by doing things like making charts and tables and graphs and use that to describe data. And then we can also have numerical descriptions of data, things like the standard deviation and the mean or average and quantiles, things of that sort. So numerical descriptions of data, but basically describing sets of data in a variety of ways, either with pictures or with numbers. The other half of statistics broadly is inferential statistics. And if you think about the root of that word, inference there is about making a guess or decision. And that's about using a set of data that we have to make an inference, decision, or guess about a general, what's called population of data based on some sample information. That's kind of the other half of the course. So, of course, we'll be doing kind of both in parallel, but that's kind of the big idea. Or to make that more explicit. One of the big ideas for statistics is that if you want to know something about a whole group called a population, it's either impossible or impractical to know or to test that in every single individual. So we take a sample. For example, let's say that you run a burger restaurant, let's just say, and you want to know what the temperature of burgers that are coming out are. You can't, of course, or how they're, let's say you want to know if they're good. Okay, so you can't sit and take a bite out of every burger you sell, right? Because you're not going to be selling burgers for very long if you're handing out burgers and they all have a bite taken out. So instead, what you might do is try 1 out of every 25 or something, and then you take your bite out and then you throw away the rest of the burger. But the point is there, you can't test every single individual because you kind of destroy it by testing it. As another example, car manufacturers test vehicles by crashing them. and they want to see how their particular model of car will do in a crash test, they can't, of course, crash every single car they're going to sell. They just take a sampling of some cars and crash those. Okay, and from that they make a inference or decision about the population of all the cars that they might make based on how these couple of cars did in the crash test. Okay, so but that's kind of the big idea. If you read through course content, there's going to be some technical language in there that probably won't make a lot of sense to you now, and that's fine. By the end of the course, it should make more sense to you. If you have a specific question about the course and what it covers or the purpose of the course, let me know. Often people who take the course are people who are majoring in business or education or social sciences. Also, people take the course just to satisfy a transfer math requirement. So either way, I hope that you learned something useful in the course. Prerequisites for the course basically are intermediate algebra, and that's what Math 40, 45, and 49 all are. Or you could say maybe high school algebra 2, if you like. As far as how much math or algebra you do need to be able to work with fractions to do probability. You do need to be able to find the equation of a line sometimes. A lot of what we do is given a formula, plug in some numbers and calculate an answer. So if you're good with order of operations, if I give you an expression and tell you the values of the variables, you put the numbers in for the variables and then calculate using a calculator, then that's the bulk of it there. We don't do anything with like factoring or solving like quadratic equations or parabolas or things of that sort. Mainly it's fractions and order of operations. If you have any questions over your ability to, or your prerequisites, your readiness for the course, then let me know. There's an advisory of English 71. Of course, we're not going to be writing essays in the course, but a lot of our work that we do is written. There's written story problems to read or written narratives on how to complete a statistical procedure. You need to be able to read that stuff. Okay, the core format of the course is asynchronous, meaning that all of the course content is delivered via pre-recorded videos, which you watch on your own time. You don't need to log into Canvas or Zoom and be online at a certain time every day or any certain days. There's no set meeting times, no live lectures. The lectures are pre-recorded and posted on Canvas. The coursework is completed using my math lab. Time commitment for the course depends on the individual, depends on amount of preparation, interest, just aptitude in a way, what it is that we're covering. Some chapters are just harder than others, but I anticipate that it'll probably take you about 8 hours per week on the course, aside from the time you spend doing lectures. So the time you spend reading the book or doing problems, like on the computer, doing work, will probably take you about 8 hours. That's on top of the time you spend watching lectures. Watching lectures takes place of actually being in a classroom, and then the computer work is basically the part where you're doing the work, and that is the 8 hours approximately. Like I said, it's going to vary. If you find that you're deviating from that by a lot, then we probably should do something about that. If you are putting in like 1 hour a week and getting a grade you're fine with, then that's fine. But if you're putting in 1 or 2 hours a week and not getting a grade you want, you might try allocating more time. On the flip side of that, if you feel like you're living and breathing statistics, you're on the computer for like 20 hours a week and going to tutoring and everything else and watching the videos 5 times, then that's probably something else we should talk about. So if you deviate from the 8 hours per week by too much, then be in contact with me, let me know. We'll see what we can do about that. There's one required textbook. It's Elementary Statistics with My Math Lab Access by Triola. On here it says 13th edition. You can use the 13th or 14th edition. Either way is okay. They don't change by that much. The My Math Lab course ID is on Canvas. I showed you that earlier, and you can look back at that later. Okay. So grading, how the grades will go. 3 exams over the course of the term worth 15% each, making a total of 45% of your grade. We'll have homework that's completed on My Math Lab. That's 20% of your grade. And we'll also have quizzes, 12% of your grade, participation, 3% of your grade, And then finally at the end, a comprehensive final worth 20. So there's that. Exams will be scheduled in advance and will probably occur Thursday mornings. I will let you know in advance when the exams will be. We'll be having an exam basically every 3 chapters. So one after chapter 3, one after chapter 6, and one after chapter 9 is the plan. The exams will be available from 8 o'clock in the morning until noon. So that's 4 hours. That's not until midnight. You'll have at least 90 minutes to complete the exam. I plan for 90 minutes for each of the tests, but if they turn out harder when I write them, I may give you more time. Again, I will let you know. But they'll be open for a time window, and then you need to complete it within that time frame. Okay, you'll also have at least a week's notice that a test is coming. That's the plan. If you can't take a test in the morning, I can schedule an evening time for you if you let me know in advance. You have to let me know a day in advance in order for me to get that scheduled for you. For the 4-hour time window, let's say it's 8 to 12. If you have 90 minutes to take the test, you can start anytime within that 90 minutes, but or anytime within that 4-hour window. However, since you have 90 minutes, you don't want to start past 10:30, or you won't have the full time. If you start at like 11:30, you're not going to get to work till 1. Okay, it's going to cut off at 12. You'll only get a half an hour. So make sure you start by 10:30, and that way you'll have the full time. Also, once you start the test, you have to complete it. So you can't get on, work on the test from 8 to 8:30, go do something else, take a nap, and then come back and finish it at 11. Okay, once you start it, the clock starts and you only get 90 minutes and that's it. Okay, and again, make sure you start by 10:30, otherwise you'll get locked out early. Okay, if you have any questions about the testing and the timing of it and everything, let me know before we have our test. Okay, the final exam will be on Thursday, August 3rd. That's our last day of classes. Again, you'll have a 4-hour time window, and since it's a final, we'll give you 2 hours in order to complete the test. More information about the final when we get closer. There's no makeups for missed work. None of the exams can be taken early or late. If you miss one of those first 3 exams, the chapter exams, then I'll replace that exam score with whatever you earn on the final. But you do need to contact me on or before the day of the missed exam. Don't miss the test and then 3 weeks later or 3 days later ask me about it. So contact me right away if you're going to miss a test. Only one exam score can be replaced in this way. If you have the misfortune of missing 2 tests, that second one is going to count as a 0. There's no makeups for the final, so don't miss that. Here's the date. Make sure to request the time off from work as needed, get some sleep, whatever. Just make sure you're available for that. Mark that on your calendar. Your grade is determined by your overall performance on the assigned work. COD doesn't do plus minus grading, so it's just A's, B's, C's, and D's. 90 for an A, 80 for a B, and so on, as is written here. There's no extra credit. You want to try to do your best the first time. I believe that your grade should be based on your performance, and so there's no credit given for needing to transfer, graduate, repeating the course, being an athlete, scholarships, an international student, sick family members, and so on. So your grade is based on your coursework. I think that is most fair. Homework, as I said, is done on my math lab. Make sure to check my math lab regularly so that you don't miss due dates. You're going to want to use a calculator. A scientific calculator would be ideal. You don't need a specific brand of calculator, but if you do have a question over whether a particular calculator will work for you for this course, then let me know. Often, realistically, we'll be using the computer to do some of the statistical calculations, either with Excel, like a spreadsheet, or with a software that is built into my math lab called StatCrunch, which we can use to help us do the calculations. If you have a question of whether a specific calculator will work for you, then let me know. Student learning outcomes, I'll let you read through that. Attendance, your attendance isn't used in computing your grade. Of course, this is an asynchronous online class, so what's the deal with attendance? By attendance, I mean logging into the class, watching videos, reading through the materials, doing assignments on my math lab. I think of that as attendance in an online course of this type. people who do those things, log in, read, watch videos, do the work, tend to do better than people who don't. I may drop you from the class if you don't do work in my math lab for 4 or more consecutive days. Sometimes in an online class, people take the self-paced thing kind of too hard, maybe a little too much, and will like just despair after a while. And so I may go through and drop you if that's the case. If you don't do work in my math lab for 4 or more consecutive days, I may drop you. If you have something come up that is going to make it so that you can't do work on the computer for 4 days, you're going to be in jail, or you're going to go climb Mount Everest or something, where you don't have internet, then let me know. And we'll that way I'll be aware of it, that you plan to continue. Classroom conduct. Aside from the student code of conduct posted in the catalog, there's really only one rule. You want to be civil and or courteous to one another. If you post in the discussion forums, be polite, use academic language. If several of you are attending my office hours, we're going to take turns. So that's easy stuff. Students with disabilities, read through that. If that applies to you, then let me know, and also check in with the SPS as soon as possible. You want to not cheat in the course. There's no extra credit. Getting behind in a math course is always kind of troublesome. It's really hard to catch up once you're behind. There's some kind of fundamental ideas in the course that once you miss them, it's really hard to catch up. Chapters 1 through 3 are less bad, just because there are a lot of vocabulary and terminology, and you can kind of catch up on those. But I think it's fair to say that if you don't understand like chapter 6, for example, then you're not going to really understand anything that comes after it. Okay, so it can be really hard to catch up once you're behind. So really try to stay on top of things. The class can seem really fast. We are doing a semester length course in 8 weeks. So every week is really like 2 weeks during the semester. So you want to try to keep up as much as possible. All right, some general advice. Try to work on statistics every day. Try to maintain a positive attitude. Of course, you want to take breaks. It's important to take breaks, but it's also good to make sure and work on statistics every day. Math and in general and statistics also works best if you work on it or learn it in small doses over a period of time instead of doing long breaks and then huge marathons. So if you don't do anything in statistics all week, and then Saturday you sit down and spend 8 hours on it, you're not going to learn as much, and also it's more exhausting and demoralizing. You're much better off if you're going to spend 8 hours on it to do 2 hours every day, if your schedule permits. Repetitions make the learning better and also make it stick better in your head. And also it's just less intimidating than, okay, I have like 4 sections worth of homework to do and 150 pages of reading to do all at once, which is just no fun. So make sure and spread it out. Okay, make sure that you're reading the book and watching the lectures. There's a temptation for people to just kind of log into the computer and just try the problems until you get it, but you're best off trying to watch the lectures too. Okay, make sure to practice. Okay, all right, that's basically it as far as the syllabus and looking at Canvas goes. Then your next steps are to let me know if you have any questions. And we were just looking at the syllabus just now. Your next steps are to get the My Math Lab account set up and start working on that. There's an introductory assignment in there, as well as the chapter 1 materials, which as we saw are already available. Okay, so that takes us to the end of this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day.